Welcome to Beer and Board Games, folks. Are you wondering which one of us will fall in love tonight? Well, I'm about to inform you that the plot thickens. Romance edition. We're going to tell a romantic story. What always gets me in the mood for lovin' is beer.
Well, that's not a good quality, man.
You live your life, I'll live mine.
We do love beer here at Beer and Board Games, and tonight we love Wood Baron Barrel Fresh Ale.
This is real dark.
Let's go. That tastes like wood barrel. Woof. I like it.
It tastes kind of like a Scotch ale.
It's got a complex taste going on.
I taste really, really dark chocolate.
I like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more coffee than dark chocolate.
I thought it was going to be totally coffee when I smelled it.
I can taste coffee too.
Thank you to JWM for loaning us The Plot Thickens.
So we're going to use these cards and these little heart-shaped tokens to cooperatively tell a romance story.
All improvised.
You start with one person card and two place cards and two thing cards. As far as I understand, each full round is a chapter of this story. You start the chapter by talking with your mouth, and then you use the cards in your hand to add details to your section of the chapter. When you are done telling your part of the story, you say, meanwhile, and then it goes to the next person. At the end of the chapter, you get a token for each card that you play, and you can use those tokens in certain ways, which we'll get into later.
If somebody uses one of their words in a way that you think is not really right or is weird, you can call writer's block.
And that means they have to skip their turn.
Their turn's over.
I think you can use writer's block for other things too, like someone just takes the story way off the rails.
Sure.
Or, you know.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Maybe we should come up with a title.
Well, yeah, we could do a title and then change it at the end if we want.
Sure, we
Okay,
have
let's
a
do that.
working title.
Four.
Loves.
Oh.
Of
Tammy.
Tammy was a college student, and she was having trouble in school. She just would get so distracted from her studies because the boy next door in the dorm would keep playing his guitar. And she would get so mad, but she was too shy to go upstairs and say anything to him. She needed to come out of her shell. Her shyness came from an incident that happened at her senior prom. She tripped on the way to the snack table and fell all over a tray of brownies. She got brownie all over her her dress, and then everyone started laughing at her and throwing brownies at her, and they called her Brammy for the rest of the year.
That's stuck for a whole year?
That's for the whole year.
Brammy.
And what really sucked is they had their senior prom at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Not at the end. So she was Brammy, and now she's very shy. Meanwhile,
So Lizzie was the mistress of the dean at the college. They were recently caught. They were hanging out near the boardwalk on the dean's boat, and the dean's wife was coming up the boardwalk. The dean freaked out and he said, just hide. And he comes out to confront his wife wearing only his boxers. Meanwhile,
Could I connect and have the professor be a dean?
there's not a lot of rules to
Okay.
this game, so you
Great.
can do whatever you want.
Well, all right.
his name is Dean, actually.
Dean?
He's
But
the
if you-
Professor
That works well.
Dean.
He's not the dean. He's
No.
Professor Dean.
Yes.
Chapter 3.
They're in the wrong place, though, about 30 miles from the college. He drove there thinking his wife would never come out to... She thought it was a research vessel. No, it's his little love shack. When the dean's professor's wife came up to the boat, quivering with anger. Meanwhile,
Tammy, distracted by the guitar music, was trying to write some notes in her notebook from her last class. It was about an English heir to the throne, and she couldn't remember the name. She couldn't focus. And she got so angry that she called a cab and went out 30 miles away from town, near the coast, and started a campfire and began to study. ...
You can still join us at FolksCon in September. Late pledges are available at Kickstarter and on the folkscon.org website. Go there and get yours today. You take one of these tokens per card that you played. And you draw back up to 5 cards. You can draw any combination of cards that you want.
listen to the cards, boy. Listen to the cards.
The campfire crackled. Tammy scribbled away about the Holy Roman Empire. She was still so distracted and mad about that guitar boy. And she just couldn't bring herself to confront him. She thought maybe she could talk to her roommate Lizzie
Oh, connection.
and have her talk to the boy. Because Lizzie was so bold. In fact, she suspected that Lizzie had a secret lover. Deep down, Tammy wishes she could be more like Lizzie. But she wears those nerdy glasses. She embraces communism. And those things just aren't popular. It was just then that she noticed the lights in the distance of an old cabin. I wonder who lives there. Meanwhile,
During the confrontation, the wife noticed draped out of the window was a dress and a billowing shirt.
Hastily
The wife
removed clothes. Yeah,
was
shorn.
sloppy drunk and pushed past Dean while Lizzie slipped out of the boat. Her phone began to ring, and it was her good friend, the college student, Tammy. She had found this strange cabin, and they happened to be in the same area, and she wanted to get together and talk. Meanwhile,
On a small outcropping of land, a brawny lumberjack, his name is Mac, was relaxing after a long day of work. He looked out over the bay and saw the lights of lovers on the other side and started to strum a musical tune. Meanwhile,
well, wait a minute.
wait a minute.
What did the tune sound like?
Oh. Oh, Brownie. Meanwhile,
Lizzie told Tammy you've got to embrace your Tamminess fully. You should look for a stud, Tammy. And she thought maybe there's a stud in that cabin. So she headed over by the cabin and she heard the sweet sounds of a brawny lumberjack. She wound her way through the rose garden in front of the cabin. Meanwhile,
Brammy loved ukuleles. They were so much nicer than dumb guitars. As she approached the big burly lumberjack, she had a strange feeling of familiarity. He's so burly, but could he be just out of high school like me? As she got closer, she realized who he was. Dexter Lambert. The man who first called her Brawny. Brammy. He was the one who started it.
oh no.
Back in high school, he was such a jerk, but how could he play such beautiful ukulele and live out in the woods, a nature's existence? Back in high school, he was a chauvinist. He always put down girls for their bra size, but here she was drawn to him. She couldn't resist. She walks right up to him and taps him on the shoulder. Meanwhile,
Oh, wow, what a cliffhanger.
what was his name again?
Dexter
Lamp.
Lampbert.
Emphasis on the P in Lampert. Some people call him Mac, but that's
Dexter
on
Lampert. When did you get out of prison? I've been out for about 10 years living by this here lake.
Oh, wait. Writer's
Sorry,
block.
sorry.
Writer's block.
Writer's block. Take it back.
He's just out of high school. He was not in prison
Yeah, I
for 10
fucked
years.
up.
I
Damn.
mean, unless he went to prison when he was 12.
He went-
But then I don't know how the
No.
brownie thing happened.
Dexter grabbed the hand on his shoulder. No one's touched me in years. 2 years. Since
Recently out of high school
Since I was
years.
such a terrible person in high school, no one's touched me. Tammy spun him around. Dexter recognized Tammy right away and said, Brammy. And she said, slap. Tammy.
She said slap?
She said slap, and then she slapped him. Slap, slap, slap. You know damn well who I am.
Tammy realized she was becoming her full Tammy self. She realized that she wanted to be a dominatrix to this brawny lumberjack that had treated her badly in school. She realized she had to stop being a hopeless best friend to Lizzie and start getting serious. Maybe take him home to the boudoir.
Romance is blooming
It's coming out.
for Brammy and Dexter, the lumberjack,
Yeah.
otherwise known as Mac.
I hope that the B plot still gets tied up too.
B plot is that wouldn't seem the hottest as well. I mean, as
It
far
was
as-
pretty hot.
Professor Dean's wife just finished scolding him for cheating. He just got a stern scold. Where is this Lizzie woman? I don't know. Her clothes are gone and she skedaddled. You'd better go find her and break it off. Tell her you're not to see her again because you're my husband. I wonder where Lizzie could have gone. I wish I had something to wear because she took my billowing shirt. And now I'm bare-chested. I think I heard her on the phone with her friend Brammy before. Let's see now, where does Brammy like to go? Brammy is a glasses-wearing communist. She loves nature. Could be she's in that nearby nature area.
Professor Dean yells out for Lizzie. He finds her as she approaches a small cottage. Lizzie, we need to talk. That was too close. I can't do this anymore.
It was too close. We got caught. Way too close.
Next time, well, there won't be a next time. Lizzie and the dean notice the conversation between the brawny lumberjack and
Brammy.
Brammy and Ronnie.
And they're listening to him. And
Oh, they overhear the okay.
they overhear the
Yeah,
conversation.
I feel like you could have
between them.
meanwhiled this already.
Meanwhile,
It's at this point in the show when we toast our patrons at patreon.com/beerandboardgames who have bought us a beer. This beer is almost gone, but my appreciation for these fine folks will never vanish. Especially Sloth Jr.
Mike.
Trav,
Snow Demon.
Cheers!
Cheers! Thank you.
in the rose bushes, Brammy has tied Mac up with Rose. The inner dominatrix is woken up in her, and he is not taking it well. He looks up at her with tears in his eyes, and he says, "You know, Brammy, you used to be a real ugly duckling. But I bet if you took those glasses off," and Brammy tightens up the Rose thing, he screams out in pain, "Oh! Brammy, you got me all in a precarious situation here, all tied up and with my shorts down. And there's someone nearby. Brammy, do something. I don't want this to be like another incident in the back seat." Meanwhile,
Tammy remembers the back seat. What's the lumberjack's name again?
Brawny.
I was gonna call him fucking Brawny. She's surprised that Brawny didn't go to jail for what happened in the back seat.
Damn it.
She's enjoying this moment. She takes off her bra, wraps it around his neck, starts, getting rough. He quivers.
What did he do in the back seat that he should have gone to jail for?
He's
Jesus.
gonna have to explain that.
Hey, you're gonna kick that football down the field, huh?
I'm doing Tammy's point of view. Meanwhile,
Brawny stands up and he says, "Yes, Brammy, I know what I did in the back seat. And you think I'm ashamed of it? No, I'm proud of it. I know I forged those documents, those government documents, to get that phony military pension. But it wasn't for me, you see. No, it was for my father, who was a war hero, and he was never recognized for his heroism. So I was getting him his due, Brammy. And if I'm supposed to be ashamed about that, I'm not." And he bursts his rose bonds, and he says, "I'm going to show you the kind of man I am." He snaps off the bra. He kicks off the shorts. He takes her to the boudoir of the cabin. It seems like an animalistic thing, but it's a very romantic scene, like something out of the movie The Notebook. And there they make passionate sex.
oh, passion sex.
Sweat dripped down both of their bodies until they both came to the most beautiful climax.
at the window, Professor Dean Professor and Lizzie are looking in the window and watching the lovemaking. Professor Dean says, "My God, he has the body of a bodybuilder." And look at her. She's built like a boat.
Lizzie said, "I think you're such a silver fox. I feel like we should continue our tryst." Suddenly he puts his hand in the
you
wrong
a tongue
place
lash.
on the windowsill and gets a sliver. It hurts. He screams. Meanwhile,
Nude! Brawny leaps out of the bed, hearing the scream outside the door. He rushes outside. his manhood on display, his muscles quivering. He sees the two people crouched outside the window. What's going on here? Why, hello. We were just noticing your passionate lovemaking, and it rekindled our desire for each other. You've helped us, sir. Brammy rushes out. What's going on? Izzy? Why, is Professor Dean your secret lover? That's right, Tammy, and it's a secret no longer. I don't care about his sloppy drunk wife. Professor Dean is my man, just as this gentleman is yours. Out of nowhere, boom! Brawny climaxes. Oh, where did that come from?